Let's talk about that giant, mysterious, and, let's be honest, super expensive machine that's probably humming away in your basement or closet right now. Yep, we're talking about your HVAC system. In this explainer, we're going to pull back the curtain and figure out what it does and, more importantly, how to keep it from quitting on you when you need it most. Just picture it for a second. It's 2 in the morning, it's absolutely freezing outside, and you wake up because you're shivering. And you realize it's dead silent. The furnace isn't running. That feeling, that's pure panic for any homeowner. Understanding your system can be your best friend in a moment like that. So let's break it down.
You know, your HVAC system really is the unsung hero of your home. It's just always there, right? Working in the background to keep you comfortable. But when that hero falters, your comfort and, yeah, your bank account are definitely at risk. So let's figure out what it takes to keep this hero in top shape.
To really get a feel for the kind of stress these systems are under, we need a good case study. And you know what? There's probably no better place for an HVAC stress test than the absolutely brutal climate you'd find in a city like Boston.
I mean, just think about the whiplash your system goes through. It has to battle these sub-zero temperatures in the dead of winter, and then just a few months later, it's fighting off 95-degree days with that soul-crushing humidity. That constant swing from one extreme to the other puts incredible wear and tear on every single part. It's basically running a marathon all year long with almost no break.
And it's not just the crazy temperature swings. You've got all these other local challenges piling on. If you're near the coast, that salt air can literally eat away at your outdoor unit. A lot of older homes have ductwork that's way too small, which basically chokes the system and makes it work twice as hard. Heck, even a big snowstorm can completely bury your outdoor unit and shut the whole thing down. These are the real-world reasons why systems in tough climates just fail more often.
So how do you know if your system is in trouble before it completely gives up on you? Well, it usually sends out some warning signs. Let's learn to speak its language and recognize those signals.
Oh man, this is one of the most common and, frankly, most infuriating calls a technician gets in the winter. You can feel the air coming out of the vents, but it's cold. You're paying for heat and you're getting the exact opposite. So what's going on here?
Well, a lot of the time, it's actually not some catastrophic disaster. See, these high-efficiency furnaces create water as a byproduct, and that water has to drain outside. When it gets really cold, that little drain line can freeze solid, and your system is actually smart enough to know this is a problem, so it shuts itself down for safety. Sometimes, the fix is as simple as carefully thawing that line out.
Okay, here's another classic distress signal. Your air conditioner, which is normally just a low hum, suddenly has a new, very loud personality. It's rattling, buzzing, maybe even squealing. Now, it's tempting to just turn up the volume on the TV and pretend you don't hear it, but you really, really shouldn't.
Think of these noises as your system screaming for help. Yeah, a rattle might just be a loose panel, which is an easy fix, but a high-pitched squeal, that could be a motor that's about to fail completely. Paying attention to these sounds and acting early can literally be the difference between a simple adjustment and a massive $1,000 repair bill.
And that brings us to the big one, the climax of the homeowner's journey, right? It's the single biggest and, yeah, often the most stressful financial decision you'll have to make about your HVAC. Do you sink more money into a big repair, or is it finally time to just replace the whole thing?
This is where having a simple rule of thumb can be a lifesaver. It's called the $5,000 rule, and it's basically a little guideline designed to take the emotion out of the equation and give you a clear, numbers-based reason to go one way or the other.
The math here is super simple, I promise. You just take the age of your system, in years, and you multiply it by the cost of the repair you've been quoted. So for example, let's say you have a 12-year-old air conditioner and it needs a $500 repair. You just multiply 12 times 500, which gives you $6,000. Since that number is over the $5,000 threshold, the rule suggests that putting that repair money towards a new, more efficient system is probably the smarter financial move in the long run.
And here's the why behind that rule. Just look at the typical lifespan of this equipment, especially in a place with a tough climate. An air conditioner might only give you 12 to 17 years tops. So spending a bunch of money on a 12-year-old unit, well, that's a risky bet. A furnace will last longer, for sure, but once you get past that 15-year mark, you're pretty much on borrowed time.
So, okay, whether you decide to repair it or replace it, you're going to need a professional to help you. But how do you find someone you can actually trust? Let's take a look at what good, honest, transparent service should feel like.
Honestly, it shouldn't be complicated. A great service experience really just boils down to these 3 simple steps. First, you call, and they give you a clear window of time for when they'll arrive. Second, and this is absolutely critical, the technician figures out the problem and gives you a firm, upfront price before they start any work. No surprises. Then third, they do the repair and test the whole system to make sure it's working perfectly. That's it. Simple, predictable, and professional.
And here are the big green flags you should be looking for. That upfront pricing we just talked about, that's non-negotiable. They should be able to explain the problem to you in plain English without a ton of confusing jargon. And they should never use high-pressure sales tactics to scare you into buying a brand new system you might not even need. They should respect your home, and frankly, they should respect your intelligence.
All right, so we've looked at the challenge, we've found a trustworthy guide. The final part of this journey is all about staying in control. It's about the simple, proactive stuff you can do to hopefully avoid ever having that 2 a.m. panic again.
When you get right down to it, you're at a fork in the road, with a choice between two very different paths. On one side, you've got preventative maintenance. It's predictable, it's low cost, and it gives you peace of mind and makes your equipment last longer. On the other side, that's the emergency repair path. High stress, super expensive, and it always happens at the worst possible time.
And you know, getting a seasonal tune-up isn't just about preventing a disaster. A clean, well-maintained system just runs more efficiently, which means it uses less energy. So, you're not just buying reliability, you're also investing in lower utility bills month after month. It's a total win-win.
So we end right back where we started, with that unsung hero humming away in your home. Understanding how it works, what it needs, and how to take care of it is one of the most powerful things you can do as a homeowner. So the only question left is your hero ready for the next season?